Well, good afternoon, actually. Francine here. I am the founder of Mothers to Daughters, and today we are very fortunate to have a guest. Her name is Jennie Belaiev. She's a Toronto-based Canadian, Russian, Israeli artist, and she had a passion that she created. Well, a passion that started until as far as she could possibly remember. But today we really want to learn more about this passion of hers turned into business, and hopefully can inspire one person or two or even more today. Thank you, Jennie, for being here.
Thank you, Francine. How are you?
Doing fabulous. It's well, the weather has really been smiling at us lately. So yeah, it doesn't quite feel like the very cold winter yet, which I'm happy about. So not complaining. Wonderful. I can see the beautiful paintings behind you, and I just cannot wait for you to dissect some of them and, talk to us about your love for colors and exploring. So tell us, what inspired you to get into art and painting specifically?
Well, I think it's something that I've always had. I feel like there is visual thinking with me that happens. For example, if I get really upset or stuff like that, I have images that come to my head that I really feel need to get out there.
Right.
So it's very much a visual concept. So for example, at one point, I was having some trouble at work a few years ago, and it was really bugging me. And there was just like a lot of strong emotions that I had to deal with. And all I could think about is like there was this image of Alice from Wonderland, kind of, the drink me and the bite me, the cookie and the thing. And that thought just kept kind of like staying in my head all the time. And what ended up happening is I made a painting called Bite Me, which is basically Alice being humongous, stuck in the rabbit house, holding the cookie that says "bite me" on it, and with a little bit of hidden things in there as well. But I feel like it's sort of my therapy as well. It's just an expression of that urge that keeps kind of coming up until it's out there. So yeah, so it's kind of always been there, and it's been increasing and increasing constantly. So at this point, it's really kind of a calling that I have that just I need to do it.
You need
so I decided, why not use it to actually develop a business instead of just a hobby. So
I strongly resonate with that. And I just want to go back. I really like the part about, going through an emotion and visualizing it to a point where you can pretty much share with others exactly what you've been feeling, to the point of explaining it, just like you did. It's very ingenious. And yeah, I've had the chance to look at some of your paintings, and it's really, you do it's a good job. You can kind of bring people into your world through this. Yeah,
thank you.
You're welcome.
It also makes me really vulnerable, because you're really out there. Like a lot of it is very emotional, and it's gonna be, I feel that that my paintings have a lot of me inside.
Right.
So whether it's the colors or the tones or like all of it is, I did a in-person show lately, like after a bunch of time that, everything was closed, COVID, all of that fun things. And it feels really scary to kind of be out there this much, because you can't hide it. Like it's all there. Like it's really, so really, but cool. It is and it's a lot of fun to just kind of have it out there. And then when people actually, because you kind of expect, like, are they going to judge me? Is it going to be like that sort of, like, you're really like really out of the open out there.
Yeah.
But really good feedback. So
Amazing. And I
yeah.
can't stress how brave it is for you to really take this leap or to have taken this leap and actually, brave through the fears and the feedback and the uncertainty and the, sometimes lack of confidence. Oh, are people
Mhm.
going to like it or not? It's really what makes me, advocate so much for women, because this is something we
Mhm.
have in us to just say, you know what? I will do it and I'll stick to it. And that's what you're doing. So
Mhm.
tell us, how long has it been for you now? And when did you have that click from, when was the bridge between passion to business, right? When did you make that jump?
Yes. Actually, it was COVID. Well, it was the whole experience of the world shutting down, and there was it was really so it was a very emotional time. So everyone is super stressed out. The world is coming to an end. Everything is locked down. We actually got COVID fairly early on, so that
Mhm.
was not a fun experience at all. A lot of emotion came from that as well. And one of the solutions that I found is actually there is a lovely British show called Portrait Artist of the Year.
Okay.
And basically, what they do there is it's a competition. They have different painters with different styles, uh, paint portraits, and then they progress to higher and higher levels until somebody wins per season. And I've been a fan of the show for a really long time because they show you the process, which is lovely because you see three people looking at exactly the same person from
Yeah.
exactly the same point and have completely different visions of it, right? So the paintings are completely different, the different styles, the things they see in them, and all of that. And during the pandemic, because they couldn't shoot the show, they opened it to the world, basically. So
Mhm.
what they did it as Portrait Artist of the Week. And basically what they did, they streamed a sitter for 4 hours. That's the time that you're getting in the show. And then you painted and you had to post it and to participate. And so I started participating. And first it was like, I can't do this on a weekly basis and it's too long and I don't have time for
It's
this and all of that. And I'm like,
stressful.
yes, there's all the excuses that I could have come up with. But I loved the show so much. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it out.
Mhm.
And I actually got mentioned on the show. And there was like my paintings made it into the opening credits a bunch of times. And I started thinking, like, hold on, like it's not maybe like if people who are, serious art critics think that I did a good job,
Mhm.
maybe I should start looking into this. And so that kind of week by week started building my confidence.
Okay.
And, you're stuck at home in a lockdown. So I figured I'm going to start working on this a little bit more.
Mhm.
And so, along came a website, along came posting things and building a social media presence and all of that fun things. So that was the big push.
Wow. First of all, congratulations. I know
Thank you.
how it is to be vetted by critics, by experts, and and the fact that you were not necessarily, it's not as if you even pictured that. For you, it was just about
No.
participating in
Yes.
a show you love to end
Yeah.
up being on the opening, side of those shows where your paintings are actually displayed is just amazing. That's such a victory. And I see why from there you even build that confidence to go
Mhm.
about, introducing this business with the rest of the world. But yeah, you nailed it. It's great because that's something on top of the fact that you did mention the pandemic was emotional and right, it just created this where are we going, right? What is this? Where are we going? And let's make the best out of it. It's also something that mothers to daughters share in common with you, because we launched in the pandemic and there was a lot of uncertainty, but from uncertainty comes things that, you know, just pave the future in unimaginable ways. And that's what has happened with you. So very inspiring. Thank you for sharing that. And from that moment, how have you been able to actually generate leads? And tell me about, you know, the type of clients that you're looking for, because we want people to get excited about your paintings. When they watch this video, we want them to reach out to you. So how does it work?
Thank you. Well, generally there's more and more, especially like, you know, with the pandemic and everything is fairly remote. So a lot of the promotion side and all of that is through internet. So it's Instagram is a huge tool on to reaching people. Facebook, I'm on Twitter. I'm not really super active on Twitter, but mainly like Facebook and Instagram, a lot of postings there. So advertising the website, advertising everything. I am trying to keep art accessible. That's really important to me. So I do a lot of prints. So the people who cannot afford a huge painting in their house or their apartment or whatever whatever space they're in, can still have something that, you know, gives them the feeling. Like, I really love to hear back from clients who are like, you know what, I see this and it brightens my day. Like, it's just something that gives you that little push in the morning, or yes. So I love that. So I like to spread it as much as I can. So I make small prints available, big prints available. So you don't have to break the bank to actually enjoy artwork.
Right. I like that. You don't need to break it.
Well, listen, I don't think it should be, for me, art is really something super emotional. Like, it's something that like brings a joy to me personally. It's an experience that I love sharing with others. So again, like from a recent so from like a recent show that I did, just like having people walk by and just like laugh from something that, like, from one of my paintings or something, like a lot of people connected on different levels onto it, which is beautiful to see for me. Like that's kind of, I think of this as my gift, and I would love to share that. So that is the concept that I really enjoy. So, but the way to, you know, for me to generate leads is basically going out there, meeting people, sharing what I do.
Like mugs and like things, like, are these things that you actually also design, or you could design, or it would just be like a bag, right? Or
yes. There are so I do through different services, and I do myself as well. I do put my artwork on different things, and especially like I'm planning a whole line towards, you know, the holiday season and all of that. So again, I'm trying to keep a little bit of the quirkiness and kind of the funny aspect, but again, it's lovely. I really enjoy seeing it as bringing, you know, joy to others. Like, it's really, really fun to actually see someone being excited of having a piece of my artwork. So
yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. And you did mention going, well, after the pandemic, now you are able to go and have some, I'll call it maybe a pop-up, where you get to expose your product. When the city is that? I know you live in Toronto, so maybe anyone, do you have anything coming up? Do you have a specific venue where you generally go to, so that, you know, if someone wants to catch you beyond social media,
yes,
they can connect with you?
So currently there are still several things being finalized.
Okay.
I don't have final details on that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the project is going to be I'm going to be participating in actually a women entrepreneurship group of creatives that are going to run a store
Okay.
in Brampton. So
Mm-hmm.
details would be coming soon. We're still finalizing everything on that.
Okay.
I will be in the Wonderland Winterfest Marketplace on December 26th. That's the only one that I still have like fully finalized at this point.
December
And
20.
a bunch of other dates might be coming up on different, I'm still on a bunch of waiting lists and a few things that are still finalizing.
Okay.
So I got the bug of being around people again. I
That's a
really
good
enjoyed
bug to
that.
have. It's time to
Yes.
go back to normal and
Yes.
stop fearing the whole I don't even want to pronounce that, but you know what I
Yes.
mean.
But I definitely got the bug, and I really am looking forward to actually meeting people in person. And
Yeah.
there's something really amazing about the interaction in person that is just,
Priceless.
it's just not
Priceless.
there.
Yeah.
When you,
Yeah, yeah, I
so
completely agree. I completely agree. Yeah, I agree with you. And please do that. And let us know if we
yes,
can, encourage our community, whether in newsletters, as you know, this interview will be shared later on, and
yes.
we can always say, hey, this is what's coming up. If you have a creative, please feel free to share that with me. We want to make
Thank
sure
you
we
so much.
amplify your voice as much as we can.
Thank you so much.
Now, you did say you are looking to work with a group of other creatives, right? And
Hmm.
I can't help but wonder, how is the playing field, in your world? Like, how is it in this industry? Like, do you feel there is a good enough representation of women? If not, what can we do to increase that so that they can really get to those decision-making roles in the
Hmm.
industry?
Well, again, I from the group that I am trying to connect more to women's groups.
Yeah.
So I don't see the big hierarchy and galleries and things like that. It's more kind of just building the little social circles.
Mm-hmm.
I find those more supportive
Right.
and a little bit more of kind of a safe place. Like, I'm not trying to take over galleries yet. I'm going to say yes,
But
but
that's the aim. Exactly. I was just about to say, but
yes,
that's what's coming down the line,
yes.
right?
Well,
Uh,
hopefully, yes.
yeah.
So, like, I don't have a lot of experience with how galleries are set up. I'm assuming there would be a little bit more of a
Hierarchy.
issue at that
Yeah.
point. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
but currently, I'm really looking forward to having just small collaborative spaces, especially with women, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a different connection. Like, it's just the support of fellow
Women such
women.
as yourself,
Yes.
and thank you for your support, because that's how we
Mm.
connected as well, right? You believe
Mhm.
what mothers to daughters do and leading here, and even prior to that, you having, Joe as a connection, and for us to put us
Mhm.
in touch. And yeah, there's just a ripple effect when women come together. I completely
Yes.
agree with that. Yeah. You seem to be in tune and, I'll say, content with this decision of
Mhm.
yours to be an entrepreneur in this,
Yes.
small business space. And what are some of your proudest moments? What makes you the most proud? And I know you did mention the beginning, just sharing your, emotions, being able to relate to others based on what you
Mhm.
experience yourself. But any wow moment you've had with a client saying, oh my God, like I connect so much, or I feel this way. Tell me about what's
Um,
been the proudest moment for you.
well, it's really just seeing people having an emotional connection.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that just amazes me. Like, you see someone who just starts laughing from something that, that has a lot of, I tried to put like little quirky things in all my works. So,
I know,
there's
just
a
like
little bit of that.
the little house behind you. It looks like a strawberry head, and I keep staring at
So
it.
that's okay. So that is a little mushroom.
Oh
So that
my,
was for my daughter because she
okay.
was
Mm-hmm.
not feeling really great. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do something really fun. So I made that for her.
That's so lovely. Is a
The
chimney is yeah,
this one is actually based on a
Pinocchio.
Baroque painting. So
Okay.
it's originally digital, printed on canvas. So this specific piece was kind of a dare. Uh, and I was dared to make a Baroque Pikachu. So out of that, what I did is I started looking for inspiration in the style and miscellaneous other paintings. And so what really kind of caught my eye was a painting called The Suicide.
Mm.
Not funny. Where there's a woman who is kind of putting her hand into a pit of snakes, and it's very, very dramatic, very Baroque. There are like buildings falling apart. There's everything is very dramatic. And then I figured that's too dramatic. I'm not connecting to that. So let's do Pikachu,
Mhm.
which is wearing the same outfit as the lady,
Mhm.
but smiling and happy and bright, and everything is really, colorful. And what he's doing is, instead of the pit of snakes, there's a bowl of gummy worms.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
I like that angle
that
better.
was that was my
I'm
take
not
on
a
this.
fan of snakes, and nope, I
Yes.
would not enjoy seeing anything like that.
Yes, but it's just something like that's how I translated that specific
Yeah.
situation. But and when I see people, laugh from seeing this, that is actually a lot of fun. Or when I do a landscape and people really connect to that, and someone feels like that. There's one painting that I have that is called Daisies.
Mhm.
And for some reason, it brings very strong emotions in people. And all it is, it's a field of daisies.
Mm.
But people have such warm associations with it that that really kind of brings joy to me. Just seeing that.
I love that.
thing.
Yeah, that you obviously are, delighting your clients with your painting. So something is working, Jenny.
Yes.
Wonderful. Now we did touch on COVID and the effect of, not being able to be in person. And now you feel you have the back to actually be around people.
Mm.
Except for that, physical connection with people. Was there anything else that you felt really held you back from, thriving in that environment, in that climate?
You mean being around people again? There was
Like,
a lot of
yeah. I mean, what I mean is, beyond not being in person with people
Mm.
during that time, did you feel like there was something else that the pandemic kind of took away from you as you were, launching your business and trying to
Mm.
connect with people? Was there anything else?
Well, a lot of it is there's no immediate feedback, right?
Okay.
So um it's kind of like screaming into space a lot of times. So
Mhm.
the same thing with, social media and things like that. Like you're reaching out there, but again,
Yeah.
you're not seeing people. You
Yeah.
might be seeing likes, you might be seeing like the things like that, but it's not really a connection. So you're
Right.
putting things out there, and then it's kind of okay, so it's out there. I don't know what it's doing. I can't see reactions. I am getting not a lot of feedback, not a lot of this. So I found that to be very hard.
Mhm.
Also, since we've been in a lockdown, you don't get to have a lot of experiences, right? So a lot of the things you are able to do is really cut off. So you don't get to travel, you don't get to do things. So it's more of, you're kind of in the little bubble, and then like your little bubble is kind of your inspiration. Yes.
That's
So
right. Yeah. Yeah. And you can
it's,
only do so much. Yeah. I completely relate to that. The pandemic was quite, I mean, it's still to a certain extent affecting some people in
mhm.
various ways, maybe not as drastic as before, but yeah, I think definitely beyond just in-person interactions, there was a lot of psychological and like just feeling
Mhm.
trapped, right? Just feeling like
Yes.
you can connect so much with the rest of the world. I
Yeah.
relate to that. And did you develop, say for instance, there was another crisis coming, not that we can anticipate what's coming up, but how are you mentally preparing yourself to kind of really continue, have a business continuity plan per se?
Mhm.
It may not be a pandemic, it may be a recession,
Yes.
like, what's out
Yes.
there.
Yes. Well, there is a lot of, I think, on the bright side,
Mhm.
I don't know how bright side a pandemic can be, but um
Well, the
there
bright
was,
side for you is that you actually got to be featured in one of your beloved and darling
yes.
show, right?
Yeah.
So, and even for, again, just thinking about mothers to daughters, I don't think that what we've accomplished in the pandemic could have been accomplished in like a normal world. It could have taken
Mhm.
time, but I think there was really a momentum that was built there. It's not as tangible as having an instant reaction from one of your
Yeah.
customer in the moment,
Yeah.
but it's still very considerable.
Mhm. And yeah, there was it was an emotional roller coaster. Like, don't take it really was. There was a lot of fear in the beginning, and then there was
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah,
loss of like, hold on, I can't actually, the whole conversation of like, it's just going to be the 2 weeks, and then the 2 weeks spread into months, and then you hit the
right.
year and miscellaneous things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of fear and loss and things, and I think towards the end of 2020, I just
Yeah.
reached a point of, you know what, I've let's, I mean, that is the new normal. Let's
Mm-hmm.
figure this out.
Right.
And then you start adapting. So you start figuring things out of like, okay, so let's approach this from like social media points, since you can't actually meet people in person. And then
Mm-hmm.
um, let's have different price points of art. Because again, as much as I would love to sell like 3 by 4 foot
Actual.
paintings that are going to cost thousands of dollars and are going to be amazing and things like that, I do understand that with COVID and all of the things that happen and people losing their jobs and things like that, um, that's not really tangible at the moment. And
Mm-hmm.
also, I do like to bring that emotion to people. So I would love to sell prints of like smaller things or smaller paintings or things like that, because people get to enjoy it without considering if they have to take a mortgage for it or things like that. So it's a lot of adapting and kind
Mm-hmm.
of staying, okay, so if this happens, there's a contingency plan here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of, I would say my main strategy is kind of diversifying
Mm-hmm.
all the places that can generate revenue.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's doing Etsy on one side, and then just promoting through my website, and then pairing up with services that actually print the canvases, for example, or they would print merchandise with things. So promoting things there, and it's a lot of strategizing and spreading yourself as much as possible, just so you have a little bit more of a safety net that, okay, if this is not working at the moment, you have um, this revenue, or you have it from here, or things like that. And I feel like I'm getting better at this, because I am like, one of the reasons that I'm trying to have a bit more of a group support situation is because I had to figure out a lot of this on my own. And
Right.
there's a huge learning curve, and you don't know what you don't know. So once you run into things, you start to figure out, oh, okay, I didn't know this is how it's supposed to be happening, but okay, I guess I'm going to be learning how to promote things. And I guess I'll have to learn how to do this. And so the learning curve is really, it's quite a way. But that is why I try to support people as well. So someone who
Right.
is starting up or trying to figure out how they do this, it is great to have that mentorship. And I feel like that's a huge part of what you guys are doing. So I'm really happy to support you as well.
Thank you.
But it is an amazing sort of experience when you have the group around you, when you have the mentorship and you can have questions, and maybe something you don't know, you can actually ask someone who has dealt with a situation before. So
yeah.
yeah.
You said it, exactly right. You right on all these points. And I really like your contingency plan. It's great. You're expanding, just focusing on this, purchase my painting, or you almost anticipating the needs, right, of what the clients may actually have. And I really believe, and we should for all these, plans to work. And regarding mentoring, I cannot stress how important mentoring is. I feel I wouldn't be this person in front of you if it wasn't for it. And to your point about how much, like, having that advice, that guidance from someone who's been there before can really not only save you on time, but empower you to be stronger and feel like I'm not in this alone. Someone has been there.
Yes.
So if it's telling me this is what works, I just have to apply it and go for it.
Yes.
Right? There's trust, there's confidence, you just feel empowered to really show up better for your business, which is so paramount. One person can only go so far, but when you have a village around you, you go, you climb mountains when you have that type of support. And yes, so I really also, you obviously inundating your thoughts with the right processes and the right action plans, which is, being closer to communities and seeking that support. It's going to bring you very, very far.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, what does support looks for you? Well, we just mentioned it. Now you're looking to surround yourself more with community and women. What other means of support could you possibly need? Like either for people to, drive traffic to your website, or just advertise what you do, or, an opportunity for maybe an interview with some of our partners, or like anything that could really put Jennie out there.
Yeah, all of the above. I find that I moved a lot throughout my life, lived in a whole bunch of places. And I feel that on one hand, that was amazing. I got to meet a lot of different people. It really shows you how small the world is.
Okay.
Despite like it's vast, but then it's really not. And you see that, the big differences that people are, judge each other on. They're really not. Like there's good people everywhere, there's bad people everywhere. There's really no need to be, decisive that this is the bad batch. It's like, no, it's not. That's just how people work.
Right.
But I found that because I moved so much, I've never actually developed a network. So that was kind of the brick wall that I kind of kept running into. So I am building it, a little bit by little bit. But yes, I get the networking side of things. Like, I really don't have a lot of connections. So I'm working on it. I'm putting myself out there. There's advertising. There's like, I'm trying to meet people from the artistic community or just people in general. And
Right.
that is something that I'm finding as the most difficult part for me, because it takes time to build relationships and to build to build good relationships. Like,
Yeah.
a like on Instagram is amazing, but that's not a relationship.
It's
It's
not, it's more
really a
transactional.
connection.
It's more
Yes.
transactional. And yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean. And it's generally building those relationships that bring you to the next level. But you're
Yes.
already putting yourself out there. I mean, the intentions matter.
Yes.
Fact that you have this intention, the fact that we are here discussing your journey and
Mm.
being part of the community, because there's a lot of, we don't necessarily have many artists, but we do have some of them. Could be a
Mm.
great start to just say,
Mhm.
hey, somehow on the website, actually, if you look closely, and then there's also partners. For instance, Mothers to Daughters has Jelly Social as a partner, and it's a hub of local small businesses. That's one of the things
Mm.
I would probably strongly encourage you to get into.
Mm.
They host monthly socials on Wednesdays, and you just get to meet different entrepreneurs from like different,
Mm.
industries, and that just from there, and it can start as little as, how about I connect with one person or two people after
Mhm.
that call, right? It doesn't have to be
Yes.
massive. You need to give yourself
Yes.
grace to like get all immersed into this, because networking
Mm.
itself, it's a skill.
Yes,
It is a
definitely.
lot of reaching out, following up, re-engaging. And it's just one
Yes.
of those, it just doesn't happen overnight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, so yeah, that's great to know. And if I hear anything at all, I will, make sure I make intros where possible, and we'll
Mm.
continue to support each other that way.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Now, you did mention in the beginning that sometimes you are in front of people that are just starting up. What are some of the
Mhm.
advice you share? Tell us what you tell them, right? As they're starting in this industry, and and reflect on what you wish you knew before starting.
Um, okay. So on the first part,
Yeah.
what I usually tell people who start out is that you need to be true to yourself, especially with art. Um, you can have great skill. Like, you could, and you can make beautiful paintings or copies of paintings, or you can keep running after the next style or whatever. Like, there's so much variety out there, and some people are just like, oh, I'm just gonna do this because I see this a lot. This is gonna sell. I'm gonna do this,
Yeah.
which is great if that is the extent of how you want to approach this. I always found that, I don't know if it's just me and my little, obsessive compulsive in my head that's like, nope, you have to do this. You need to do this. This is what we're doing right now. We need to do
Yeah.
this. So it's a different experience for me. So the
Mhm.
monetization part is a great after effect.
Mhm.
But I don't really do it for that specific reason. I guess it's one of the considerations, but it's not
Mhm.
the main consideration.
Right.
So again, if the plan is just to have this as a job, then of course you can start looking after the trends and you can be like, this is what's selling right now. This is the thing I'm going to be doing. But I know so many people who have vastly different styles, just, and everyone has a space.
Right.
So the whole point in art is the connection. So you don't have to do it exactly like that person. You don't have to copy this exactly. You just have to do you.
Right.
And then that you will find your people. That's kind of my takeaway from this, is that you will find the people who will connect to your artwork. It might not be that person or that person. You might have to look a little bit more to find them, but they're out there. And then there's also, for me personally, when you find that piece of artwork that you really connect with, it's a beautiful experience. And so it's, again, like, you could have that connection with someone, which you're not going to have if you're just doing this for, the sake of
getting the money.
like getting the paycheck at the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that is my main advice. So just keep doing it, and you will find your people. If you don't find your people, then you have to look somewhere else. But they're out there. People are, we're beautiful in the fact of we're diverse, and we don't like the same things. And if you have 100 people, they will not agree on anything. So that's they're out there. So the audience is out there, and that's kind of where you need to.
Yeah. So, and all this resume, like if I were to just think it, it will really be about like be mindful, like the tribe you're building, and also be mindful of when it's time to change that same tribe or switch, or right, just be mindful of that surrounding, because you, like, a business is like, it's your baby, you're giving birth to something, and you are sharing that baby with the world, but not everyone fits into that baby, either it's at a council level or like even involved in it. So yeah, very deep. That's a great advice. Thank you. I picked that for myself. Now,
yeah, and you should never be afraid to grow or change, or again, it's a journey.
Yeah.
So it's great that you're doing this one thing, but if you want to do something else, that's amazing. If you want to go learn a new skill, or if you want to go and expand that's amazing.
That's great. And I have a question. Are you considering down the line offering like painting classes as you develop your business? Is that something that you can?
Yes, I am definitely, again, so because it's a combination of kind of sharing the skill and on the connection portion as well, definitely. Currently, until the end of the year, definitely I just do not have any way of, if I can invent a time machine that will spread the days into like 40 hours, definitely could. But until the beginning of the new year, no, but it is definitely something that I'm thinking of. Just because I find it such a great therapeutic process for me. Not just the skill, but just just because it's such an emotional experience for me. I love having that as something to share with people. And if someone can, sit there and just take some of their emotion out, and it does really provide, it's a sort of, for me personally, it's sort of a meditation. So even though I have that little like picture in my head that, okay, so we're doing this, once you start the process, what comes out is really, I have a lot of moments of like, I didn't think about that, but there it is. Like there's something that you didn't even think about that is in the painting. And you're like, that's interesting how that turned out. And it is a very powerful emotional tool. So I would absolutely love to share that with others. definitely.
That's great to know. Again, 2023 has a lot in store, and I hope there's space for it. And let's see what the future holds. But it's very good to know that it's something you'll be open to. Now,
Thanks.
besides art, is there anything
Mhm.
else, any cause that you're really passionate about? And could you also tell us if there's a woman you really admire out there, like a female that really makes you feel like I can do it, or just is doing well enough to inspire you to keep working on yourself?
Hmm. Um, I don't know if there's one woman that I find really inspiring. Um, I am a single mom, so been for a while, and it's been such a difficult and rewarding journey. There's a lot of struggle in it, but then on the other hand, it's like I see my daughter flourish, and the connection that we have, and the how we overcome things and we figure things out, and there's a lot of logistics involved, and you kind of have to work through this.
Yeah,
So I find it um, very inspiring
yeah,
when um, you do parenting and you do um, the work and you do all of that and you succeed, and it's fine. I had to at some point stop watching motivational videos. There was a period of time where one of my great friends sent me a ton of motivational videos of like, we can do this and da da da, and you can be a super successful mom and super successful business owner and super successful this, and you can do everything. And you know what? I got tired. And at some point, you can't do 12 hours of running your business while also being a full-time parent and while also working somewhere and also
mm-hmm.
doing this. And at one point, there was such a feeling of failure, because it's like, hold on, what? You can't do 75,000 things at the same time? Like that something is wrong with you. You're supposed to be like running everything. Who needs sleep? Who needs anything? Like, you're just supposed to be like everything at the same time.
Sure.
And I found it really inspiring to actually be allowed to fail. And it's okay. Like, you don't have to be 100% on everything. And it's okay to be like tired, and it's okay to be like, to have a bad day. And it's
Yeah,
okay to be like all of the things at the same time. And that like, and sometimes you're feeling one thing or another, and it's okay.
yeah,
And I found like the little permission to be like, you know what? You don't have to do everything at the same time. Like, you can
right.
have a bad day. Like, it's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah,
As long as you do your best on all of the things, you're good.
yeah,
So, you know what? I find women who do their best, not necessarily like succeeding in absolutely everything, but as long as you try your hardest, I find that extremely inspiring.
I agree with you. Success has a mainstream definition that
Mhm.
discounts failure sometimes, and people get wrapped into it, and it's just
Mhm.
exactly what you said it, right? Motivational. No, you can do it. You can. No, 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 there's a time where you have to be yourself. It goes back to the
Yeah.
advice you gave to those small entrepreneurs. Be yourself. You can have a day where you don't want to be around people. Accept it
Mhm.
and ask yourself the right questions about why you feel this way. And if the next day
Mhm.
you feel bad and say, maybe I will feel bad for an hour, accept it, right?
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
also very big on that. It's not
Mhm.
about amassing and having this billboard of like accomplishments, just being the best woman you can be every single
Mhm.
day, the best you can.
Definitely.
I love that. And I was asking as well if you have any social cause, right? Because obviously women empowerment is something that that inspires you, or in art as well. Is there anything else that, really piques your interest when you look at the world and a way to make it better?
I love seeing people connect without judginess.
Yeah.
So I have very close friends and who are in the LGBTQ community, which again had to deal with so many horrible things, and I find that it's really uncalled for. So that is a very big cause that is important to me, and especially like in a country like Canada, you don't see as much of this as a negative thing, because there's a lot of embracing. There's still a lot of judginess. There's a lot of judgment. There's a lot of it's not great, but unfortunately there are a lot of places where that is just completely horrible to whether it's the government or the society or both. So that is a big cause that is really important.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. Support goes a long way, whether it's, what's happening in Iran right now, where women feel so marginalized, whether it's, anything that really affects our stability, mental stability, and, physical stability. The LGBTQ community needs support, and no one feels good being discriminated, being prejudiced, or, just looked a certain way. So yeah. And those are really, all those causes are part of your identity. So, you can talk about art, but you can also talk about how women are powerful and strong, but can also graciously be weak and fail. And you can talk about how your friends in the LGBT community are empowering you and, helping you become a better person to really, help contribute to less discrimination towards them. So that's very empowering. I really thoroughly enjoyed this interview. And thank you so much, so many nuggets and your energy. And I really look forward to working with you and supporting you the best the community of Mothers to Daughters can. And thank you. Did you have any final words?
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this interview. It's great to support a great cause like you guys. And yes, I will keep you posted on everything or where you can find me. And
absolutely,
this has been great fun. Thank you so much.
It has been, yes. And Jennie Belaiev, she has a website that's actually her name, so it's really easy to find her. But you'll be featured on our newsletter as well. You'll be featured on our social media, so people will not miss you at Mothers to Daughters. You can be sure of that.
Thank you so much.